everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chem Talks. Mr. J here. Today we're going to talk about gas stoichiometry. And the nice thing about this is we've already done a lot of this. Think back to when we were doing moles, right? We learned to convert from moles to grams to particles and then to volume of gases. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's go back to when we did that. Remember when we did that, we had the Y chart, right? And the Y chart was our tool for going between moles and mass and particles. The one we're going to be interested today is down here, going from moles to volume. And we're going to learn to do this under standard conditions and then under also non-standard conditions. So stoichiometry, remember, is just a way of quantitatively describing what's going on in a chemical reaction. So it lets us convert from one species in a chemical reaction to another. So oftentimes what we see in these chemical reactions is that we either have gas as a reactant or a product, which is nothing too out of ordinary we talked about. So in gas stoichiometry, it simply allows us a way to calculate the volume of those gases, because we're not generally going to think of them as moles too much. We don't represent them as particles or grams. We represent them as a volume in liters. And what we know is that gases, rather than having a concentration like solutions do, they're going to have what we call a molar volume, which is expressing it how many liters are there in a mole. And so, if you think back to when we did this, idea of molar value came from Avogadro's early work. Avogadro, remember, said that equal volumes of gases at the same temperature and pressure, that's an important thing, same temperature, pressure, contain equal number of particles. Okay? So the molar volume is the same for all gases, regardless of their size or formula. So it doesn't matter if we're talking oxygen, molecule or something like carbon dioxide. They're all going to contain the same volume for a given quantity. And we call that the molar volume. Remember now, we said that at STP, standard temperature and pressure, which was 1 atmosphere and 273 degrees Kelvin, the molar volume, or the volume that 1 mole of a substance takes up, is 22.4 liters per mole. Okay. Now, it's really important to remember, guys, when we're doing this, we're talking at STP. Now, when it gets off STP, then we have to do something different. And like we said, we use this conversion fact just like we use Avogadro's numbers from going from moles to particles, or we used a molar mass from going from moles to gram. It's just a way that allows us to convert just like we did with everything else. Now, what if it's not at STP? Well, if it's not at STP, then we're going to have to do a little more work. And what we end up doing is using the ideal gas law. Remember, PV equals nRT. What this allows us to do, we can either find like the number of moles of a reactant, or we can also find the volume, pressure, or temperature of a product that is not at standard temperature and pressure. So there is a way to work around it. So let's take a look at a couple different types of problems. So to give you a little roadmap of this as we think about how to do these problems, if we're going from moles to liters of gas, if it's at STP, easy. We use 22.4 liters per mole and we're done. Now the problem comes in when it's not at STP. Instead, what we're going to have to do is use the ideal gas law. So non-STPs, if we're given the liters of the gas to begin with, we can start with the ideal gas law and then work kind of backwards from there. If we're looking for liters, then what we're going to do is start with the moles, okay, of the given product, convert it to what we want, and then throw that into the ideal gas law. It'll kind of make more sense once we do some problems here. So let's go see a couple. So first one, if 300 grams of propane burns in a gas barbecue, what volume of oxygen measured at STP is required for reaction? So first thing we see is we're at STP. That makes life easy. We can use the 22.4. But what's the first thing we probably should do? Write the equation. So hopefully you remember the correct formula for propane. Okay, and also remember that for STP we can use 22.4 liters is equal to 1 mole. So here's our equation. Okay, propane plus oxygen gives us carbon dioxide and water. It's balanced out. So now what we can just do is simple stoichiometry. We know we're starting with 300 grams. So remember, with stoichiometry, the only way we can switch between our propane here and going to oxygen is if we are in moles. So first thing we're going to do is start with our given, which is 300 grams of propane. Now we need to convert that to moles. So when we look up and calculate the molar mass of propane, we find it's 44.11 grams of propane per 1 mole. Now we're going to go do our stoichiometry and switch from propane here to oxygen. So we see it's a 1 mole of propane to 5 moles of oxygen ratio, like that. And then it's asking finally what volume. So we're in moles of O2. Now to get it into liters of O2, that's when we use our 22.4. So 1 mole of O2 is equal to 22.4 liters. When you multiply and divide this all together, you end up with a total of 761.72 liters, a pretty big amount that's required there. Let's try another one. Okay, what volume of carbon dioxide forms from the decomposition of 5.25 grams of calcium carbonate at 103 kilopascals and 25 degrees Celsius? Well, first thing we should recognize is we are not at STP. Okay, since we're not at STP, we can't just throw in that 22.4 number and make them work. So we're going to have to do a little extra work. So let's take a look at it. So there is our decomp. Okay, remember calcium carbonate breaks down to calcium oxide and chlorine. And so we're going to eventually use the ideal gas law. But let's start with what they give us. What we know is we have 5.25 grams of calcium carbonate. Okay, and we eventually want to get to carbon dioxide. So let's do that conversion first. 1 mole of calcium carbonate weighs 100.09 grams of calcium. And then finally, we know from our formula there, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So we end up with moles of CO2. Okay. Now, if this was at STP, we'd just be able to convert that to liter, but we're not at STP. So what we need to do now is to plug this into the ideal gas law to get our answer. And so, remember, not STP, so our ideal gas law is PV equals nRT. And so the pressure, once we convert it from 103 kilopascals, it comes out to about 1.01. We're going to call it close enough to 1. Volume is what we're trying to find, and we figured out in a previous slide at 0.052 moles. R we know is our constant at 0.0821 liters per atmosphere moles. Now remember, there are different values of this depending on the units here, so always be aware of that. And temperature, we know it's 25 degrees Celsius. We convert that to Kelvin by adding 273 and end up with 298 degrees. 298 Kelvin. Remember, Kelvins have no degrees. And so if we put this in the PV equals nRT, we end up with something like this. We divide the right-hand side by 1 and end up with our volume. And our volume in this case is 1.27 liters of carbon dioxide. So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. We had to find the moles, first of all, of CO2 using standard stoichiometry. And then, since it's not STP, plug it into the PV equals nRT. All right, let's have you try this one on your own. It says, find the volume of hydrogen gas made when 32.8 grams of zinc reacts with excess hydrochloric acid. It gives us our pressure at 107.3 kilopascals and our temperature at 88 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to give you a little hint on this first one. Okay, remember, first of all, we're not at STP, and we're going to use a different R value. Why? Because it gives us this in kilopascals. We could convert, but why bother when it gives us that? So 3 kind of steps here. First thing you're going to do is write the equation. Once you have that, you're going to want to find the moles of H2 using Stoich. Remember, we're starting with 38.2 grams of zinc. And then finally, you're going to use PV equal nRT. So go ahead, pause the video, and complete this on your own. When you're done, come back. All right, so hopefully you recognize that this is a single replacement reaction. Since we're not testing you on single replacement reactions, we're going to go ahead and assume it works. Now we're going to find the moles. Well, we know we're starting with 38.2 grams. We look up the molar mass of it, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio here. So we end up with 0.584 moles of H2. Now we have to put that into the ideal gas equation. Okay? When we rearrange that to solve for volume, just like we did before, we get nRT divided by P. Well, here's our N. Our R is up here. Our temperature is going to be 88 plus 273 to give us Kelvin's degree. And then we're going to divide it by our pressure, which is 107.3. So it should look something like this. And when you calculate it out, you end up with 16.3 liters of H2. Hopefully you got this answer. If not, go ahead and look back, figure out what you did, and get ready for this next one. All right, number 4 here, guys. I'm going to have you do this one on your own. So go ahead and read the problem, pause this, and come back to me once you've done it on your own. Please pause. Don't cheat. It's not going to do you any good just to copy. All right, hopefully you did it. If you just copied, well, you're missing the point of this whole podcast. So as we can see, it's not at STP because it's 0.96 atmosphere and 21 degrees Celsius. So first thing, we're given, what are we given? We're trying to find the grams here, but we're given the pressure. Okay, we're given the volume, and we're given the temperature. So what we can do here is start with PV equals nRT, and then kind of work the opposite of what we did with the other ones. We also know that R is going to be 0.082 liters per atmosphere, since we're using those units above. So PV equals nRT, if we rearrange this to solve for N is going to be equal to RT divided by PV. Okay, and when you do this, you should get a value of 0.597 moles of O2, which is great, but we want aluminum oxide, and also we know it's not at STP. So we figured out the moles of oxygen. Now what we're going to do is put this into stoichiometry. And so all we have to do here is do normal stoich. We're starting with 5.97 moles of O2. We need to convert from O2 to Al2O3, so we can use those conversions there in our stoichiometry problem. And then finally, it's asking for grams. So we got to get from moles to grams, and we just use simply the molar mass. We know that 1 mole of Al2O3 is going to weigh 101.9. And calculate this out, and you end up with 40.6 grams. Did you get it right? I hope so. If not, if you can't figure it out, please do come in and ask. I'm here early every morning to help you guys out. All right, there's one other derivation that we can do with PV equals nRT, and that's to use mass, the molar mass, to find the density of a given gas. And so it's, like I said, it's a derivation of PV equal nRT. So let's kind of work through this. Here's our basic equation. Now let me give you a couple of variables that we're going to use. Capital M is molar mass. Well, yes, earlier we used capital M for molarity, but remember that was a unit, not a variable. So we can use it again as a variable in an equation. Little m, okay, it's going to be mass of a gas. And once again, it's a variable, not a unit, so we can use it. R is the gas constant again, and T is temperature. So if we do, and P is pressure. So what we can do on here is do a little rearranging. If we think about, we're going to molar mass, okay? Well, only thing up here related to molar mass is going to be N, right? N is the number of moles. And so if we rewrite N, think about what moles are. Moles are the mass of something divided by its molar mass. And so we can substitute mass divided by molar mass in our equation here, okay? Now, we're trying to hook in density with it. If you remember, density is equal to mass divided by volume. Think about the density triangle we did earlier. So if I can get volume over this side, I can get rid of mass. Well, that's easy enough, right? If I want to divide both sides by V, I can bring it over to the other side here. And now I have mass over volume, and that's density. So I can simply put my density in here and simplify this even more. So I end up with, and I went ahead and solved for molar mass here and brought pressure over. So your molar mass is equal to your density times your R value times temperature divided by pressure. And we can use this to solve for either the molar mass or the density of a gas, depending on what information. So let's try a couple problems real quick. Okay, the first one says a gas has a density of 1.95 liters at 1.5 atmosphere and 27 degrees. What's its molar mass? So there's our equation. What do we got? Well, we have density, okay, we have pressure, and we have temperature, so we want to solve for our molar mass. So we're just going to kind of plug and chug here, put our numbers in, and then we'll do the calculations and end up with 32 grams per moles. So it's a pretty easy way to find the molar mass as a derivation of the ideal gas law. Let me have you try this one on your own. Once again, as always, please pause it and come back to me once you have it in. All right, hopefully you did it and didn't cheat. So what we need, the weird part about this is it gives us our pressure in millimeters of mercury. So we're going to have to do a little conversion back from atmosphere to millimeters of mercury. And if you remember, 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 millimeters of mercury. So when we do that conversion, we end up with 0.98 atmospheres. So now that we have that, it's pretty easy. I'm asking for molar mass, okay? But the other problem is we got temperature in Celsius, not Kelvin, so we add 273 to that and end up with that. So the density, sorry for the typo there, is in grams per milliliter. So what's our unit of R? Well, depending on which one we use, okay, we're going to use 0.0821. We have to convert from grams to milliliters, and we know that 1,000 milliliters equals a liter. So this one is, problem is A, seeing if you're paying attention, okay, and then knowing your conversions that we've been using most of the year. So now we finally got to the point we can plug this into what I like to call the M-dirt equation. Okay, so we're trying to find the molar mass. So we know D, it gave us density. We know our value, okay, based on, we're using liters per atmosphere, so we convert it up here. We know K, and then we know our atmosphere. So when we divide this all out, we end up with an answer of 61.12 grams. So this one was fairly difficult just because we had to do a lot of conversion. And if you've got the wrong answer, it's probably because you forgot to convert. All right, guys, so today we talked about how to do stoichiometry of gases, both when it's at standard temperature and pressure, and how to deal with it when it's not. We also talked about how to be able to find either the molar mass or the density of a gas based on the derivation of the ideal gas law. If you have any questions, guys, please come see me. Otherwise, we'll go over this again in class real quick. Take care, guys.